Right. Not to overreact, but the season's basically over.
It's done. It's over. Everybody panic.
Let's not sit here and pretend like today didn't happen. I mean,
yeah, if you have season tickets, I want to get rid of them now because there's no point.
Move
it's
them.
over.
And again, if Bob Melvin is here, are you trailing by 8 runs in the first inning? You have to ask yourself that question.
If Juan Soto's here, are you trailing by 8 runs in the first inning? Probably not.
This is a great point. This is a really good point.
Yeah,
okay, John and Jim with you. It is an overreaction edition of the wrap-up show. We're kidding, if you can't tell. If you're new here, thanks for hanging out. We have year-round content for Padres fans. And season 5 of the wrap-up show, you could kind of say, starts tonight. We started this thing in 2020. We're still going in 2024. So season 5 of the wrap-up show starts tonight. We have year-round content for you. You got to subscribe. If you're here, we won't be doing it every single day. Obviously, during spring training, we would literally be insane. But we'll be doing a lot once we get into the season, including from, well, we won't be in Korea. Will we, Jim? Do we have any news to share? Will we be in Korea?
If I'm in Korea, something went horribly wrong.
But we will be doing live wrap-up show watch parties at 3 a.m. Pacific, back-to-back nights, March 20th and 21st per Jim. This was Jim's idea.
I will be doing watch parties.
Correct. I might actually be at the NCAA tournament, but I'll do my best to be there.
If you're in a hotel room by yourself, you are doing it with me.
I know, but what if I'm next to, like, Lamont Butler? I can't keep him up, like, if he's in the room next to me.
What are you going to be, like, banging on the walls and screaming?
No, but hotel rooms.
Like nice hotel rooms that the Aztecs would stay at and that you would stay at, they're not like paper thin walls, bro.
Fair point. Anyway, you got to subscribe.
Butler up. Like, what are we talking about?
We've got wrap-up show watch parties for you where we're going to be with you for the entirety of the game, March 20th and 21st. Hopefully the games there are better than the game today against the Dodgers. I tweeted out after this game or during this game, we're not going to overreact. We're not going to overreact. We're not going to overreact. But tonight we are here to overreact with you. So, okay, here's the deal. Subscribe, smash the like button, follow us on social media. We appreciate the supers. We really do. As we kick off another season, click the $ below the chat box. It is a great way to support our work. We'll get to every single super chat and interact with them, like the one that just came in a moment ago from Paul. And we appreciate your memberships as well. If you want custom emojis, badges, if you want to support our work, again, you can click the join button down below. I don't even know what to say about today. It's not about, this is what we said on the radio. It's not about today. It's about everything they failed to do in the offseason that scares you. Left, center, DH, back of rotation, bench. That scares you. I don't care about 14-1 today. I really don't. But I do care about the issues facing this team based on their lack of doing anything throughout the course of the offseason.
Yeah, everything that you saw on paper, you see it for the first time with your own two eyes, and it's, as far as just the names go, like you look at the lineup today, and I don't want to sit here and like complain about the first spring training lineup, and I'm not going to.
Yes, you are.
But the first spring training lineup, it was only missing really, it's a big piece, Manny Machado. And everybody else is a regular or vying for a spot on the Major League roster. And that's when it kind of hit me like, they have still so many holes. You see a bottom half of the lineup of a Jackson Merrill, Eggy Rosario, Jose Azocar, and who else was out there? Cal Mitchell is your DH. That's a problem. And that is not just a spring training lineup. Those are guys that you're probably going to see at the big leagues at some point this year, I would think. Or at least those guys have an opportunity to be at the big leagues. It's not like these guys that were at the bottom of this lineup today have no shot. And you see that, and you're like, okay. The 14-1, like you said, means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. I think I read Dennis's piece tonight, and Joe's like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. I was out there for a purpose, and the result is not what I wanted. Yeah, did I want to finish an inning? Of course I did.
Right.
But he's like, I don't care. And I'm the same way. I don't care. But like you said, John, we talked about it a lot today on John and Jim. They didn't address any of their big-time needs this offseason. They still have no left fielder, center fielder, DH, and their bench is god-awful. So when you see it, like, in person, like, actually, like, it's a real thing, that's when you're like, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous if they don't make any moves. And by the way, if you read Dennis's piece tonight, it doesn't sound like they're in a rush to make a move. It sounds like they're really going to give all of the guys I just mentioned, plus others, the first crack.
Well, they're certainly getting the first crack
And
because
probably like they're going to be on this roster.
yeah, I mean, here's the deal. Because what you said is accurate. I mean, Machado's of course a huge piece. Someone like Profar could end up being a starter on this team as well. Not that it's overly impactful, but you know, Machado, Profar, you could argue others, but a home spring training lineup, you know, this was a lot of their starting lineup. And again, it's one game. You weren't facing elite pitching. They had one solo home run from Jay Cronenworth, which is fine. And you know, Joe, the only thing I cared about, and Paul will get your super in a moment. The only thing I cared about today is seeing Joe Musgrove kind of put the lost season behind him. Last year was a lost season. When he pitched, he was effective, but
It was great when he pitched.
I just wanted to see him. I just wanted to see him go an inning. That's all I wanted to see. And beyond that, I would have said, you know what, Joe Musgrove's healthy to start the year. That's a critical piece for the Padres. Who cares about spring training offensive stats in one random game? But to face, you know, like Mookie Betts and whomever else was in the lineup, like Chris Taylor, and, you know, go through a scoreless inning, maybe allow a hit, maybe not, maybe strike a batter out, maybe two. That's what I was hoping to see, and that didn't happen. And again, to Musgrove's point in the article, the game's irrelevant. The fact that 4 batters reached against him isn't overly relevant, but man, you've been waiting 5 months since the disappointment of last year, and it's 8-0 with 1 out in the top of the first inning. That's a joke. Like, again, it doesn't matter, but it's like, come on. Like, I've been waiting 5 months to watch this, and it's 8-0 with 1 out in the top of the first inning, and you're onto your third pitcher, and it's a 35-minute inning.
It sucks.
So
it sucks. It's not like it's like, okay, but you know, if they start the season 15-7, you're like, who gives a shit what they did the first spring training game?
If they start 1-0, who cares what they did in the first?
They sweep the Dodgers in Korea. I mean, this will be the.
I don't care if they go winless in the Cactus League if they start 1-1. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It again, I'm trying to get the point across of like the result 14-1 does not matter, but seeing the pieces that were out there, that's what matters. And that is the concerning part of it. Not the 14-1. Even if they won 14-1. Well, I mean, if they won 14-1 and you had Jackson Merrill go like 3 for 3 with the home run, and you know, Eggy Rosario go 2 for 3 with a double, and Cal Mitchell have a big hit, like then you'd be like, I
wouldn't have cared.
I wouldn't have cared, but at least it wouldn't have been as like, oh, these are the pieces that they're going to be putting on this Major League roster to start the season. And who knows? Maybe they all have great springs and it's just like a one-off, whatever. I don't know. But like the other thing too is the guys like Cal Mitchell and Graham Pauley and Jackson Merrill, and whenever we see Jacob Marcy, you know, like they're going to have good springs to be on this opening day roster. And if they don't, there's like no plan B. So that's it. This is what they got. Like, I really want to pull this up here real quick, John, from Dennis. Because, hold on. Because I read in his, I don't know if you read the article tonight.
I've read it.
By the way, the Padres are still waiting on their new pants. God, if those are the pants they wore today were the ones from last year. Do you know that? It's crazy.
That's a whole nother story. But yeah.
Okay.
What are you pulling up in the article?
It's a hold on.
Let me get to the super chat from Paul. Paul, appreciate you. Appreciate everyone that's here right now. Please subscribe. All right, year-round content for Padres fans. Everyone here right now, please subscribe. Thank you for the super chats. We'll get to every single one of them. Great way to support our work. Paul says we only beat y'all by a couple of touchdowns. All right, Paul's a Dodger fan.
Thanks, Paul.
Musgrove looked rusty, but some of the other guys look pretty good. You know, I will say this. Mike Schultz said in this article, I mean, he hasn't pitched since July 28th. And you're thinking to yourself, you know what? He hasn't pitched since July 28th, which is a little bit of a, like, that's kind of a problem. Like, there might be a little bit of a curve here. He hasn't pitched since July 28th, and he's going to pitch March 20th or 21st in Korea against the Dodgers. But, like, that's a fair point. He hasn't pitched since July 28th. So are you expecting him to go 180 innings this year and look like Joe Musgrove of 2022? I hope to see it, but he didn't even throw 100 innings last year. You going from 100 last year back to 180, 190 this year? Man, that would be pretty special.
He's gonna have to have a big year. I think even Kevin Brown and Kirkshin and Eduardo Perez mentioned it. Like he's their horse. Like he has to have a good year on the broadcast. Okay, here's the part of the Dennis article that you're like, uh-oh.
Thanks, Paul.
While they await, yeah, thanks for the Superman. While they await their updated pants, they have holes to fill at the following positions.
Oh, is that like a pun? Like holes in their
good
pants?
job, Dennis. Left field, center field, designated hitter, and the final 2 spots in the starting rotation. Acquiring a pricey free agent or a highly paid trade candidate would be a surprise. The Padres appear compelled to give the various prospects in big league camp, some with little experience above A-ball, ample opportunity to win opening day jobs. First pitch at the Sky Dome is in a little less than 4 weeks, and the risk of a less than fully baked roster is significant. That is it.
Have we not been saying that? That like the roster's not complete, and you wonder, here's the problem. We don't even know if they have any flexibility with payroll. Eric Katsenda was non-committal. AJ Preller's been non-committal. Even if they have flexibility with payroll, this free agent market is so bizarre, and they're clearly not at the top end of the free agent market. What are you adding anyway? If you're adding Jerks and Profar types, then are you really impacting your team in a positive manner anyway? So it's like you're kind of stuck between like a rock and a hard place. Like you either trust your young players to develop and perform at the big league level, or what do you do? I don't even know what the stopgap opportunities are. I mean, they're there, but are you really improving your team by going with stopgap? So you're kind of in this like, well, if I go stopgap, I'm not really helping my win total. If you go young, you don't think you're helping your win total, but young might help you get over the hump eventually. But is AJ Preller going to be able to even be here if you're bridging a gap and buying time until 2025? I just feel like they're in a really tough spot. With the first-year GM, easy. Develop the young players. Second-year GM, easy. But he's a 10th-year GM, and I don't know if he can survive this plan of playing young players against Arizona, LA, all these teams. Forget about the Dodgers. We said it today. But Arizona and Philadelphia and Atlanta and St. Louis, and it goes on and on and on. Are they good enough to beat those teams with regularity and make the postseason by playing young players all year long? You tell me.
It's going to be very tough, man. I don't remember a team that was able to do that to this level of guys that are not perceived as like ready to go. Like I know that the Arizona Diamondbacks, if you want to say a team that has a lot of talent in their system and kind of helped to propel them to a World Series last year. But I mean, Corbin Carroll, like dude was a stud and like at the door, knocking the door down, like bring me up. I'm ready to go. And you saw what happened. Is Jackson Merrill a guy that's, knocking down the doors? Like, I don't know. And other than, Ethan Salas, no. Okay. Robbie Snelling, is that a guy that's knocking down the door? I mean, Dylan Lesko, like some of these guys have only had one full season, like in the minors. So there's a couple of things with AJ that you look at this roster and like you said, does he even have the opportunity to go out and spend money with the payroll constrictions?
Like we literally have no idea. He may have
we don't know. Like we've heard the number 20 million, but maybe it's zero. Maybe it's nothing. Like I don't know. But by no means am I giving any sympathy for AJ for maybe not having the funds, because the reason why, or at least one of the reasons why this team potentially doesn't have the funds to go out and fill all of these holes that they have is because he put them in this position. Like it's plain and simple.
Look at the dead money. I mean, we talked about Eric Hosmer yesterday. That money is impacting his payroll right now.
And if you want to say, well, Peter Seidler was a big reason they spent a lot of money. AJ goes to Peter or he went to Peter. And a lot of times it was, I have an idea. Do we have the funds? Do you think we could do it? And a lot of times Peter gave the like, yeah, we do. I like it. I like what you're thinking. Let's do it. And then Peter obviously helped push that across the finish line with contracts for Xander Bogaerts, for the trade of Juan Soto. You know, whatever you want to say about Manny Machado, but you know, it wasn't just like Peter went rogue and spent all this money because of maybe his health. Like the person who presented ideas, because he is the president of baseball operations and general manager of this team, was AJ Preller. And Peter, rest his soul, was, you know, a guy willing to try to do anything possible to win. So when you give a guy essentially almost a blank check for all of his ideas, this is what happens.
All right, let me get to Vector 53. Then I have a point to make about this payroll. But Vector 53, thank you. Thank you guys for the super chats. Great way to support our work. Click the $ below the chat box. Subscribe if you're here. Year-round content for Padres fans. Padres lose today 14-1, by the way. Low expectations for this team should be the norm. Not based on today, but potentially based on what's happened here this offseason. I wouldn't say low expectations, but maybe lowered expectations. Here's what I mean by that. This whole $20 million commentary, Jim, this, hey, maybe they have $20 million, man. Then explain to me this. Your signings are Yuki Matsui, $3.25 million this year. Woo Suk Go, $1.75 million this year. That adds up to 5. Jurickson Profar, 1. You've spent $6 million on 3 players, but you're holding out. You got that 20 in your back pocket. So you've spent 6 because you're waiting to strike with the 20. Wouldn't it normally go the other way? You would actually spend the money that needs to be spent, and then you'd finish off a roster. Like, what are you waiting for with the 20? You're not spending it on Bellinger. You're not spending it on Snell. You're going to go spend it on what, a 5th starter for 13 a year? Maybe.
And you got rid of Soto's $30 million in arbitration.
Well, that's a whole nother thing. But even forget all that. If we're being told that they have 20,
okay,
what are you trying to spend it on? You're going to go get Tommy Pham? Why haven't you? You're going to go get Michael Lorenzen? Why haven't you? You're going to go get a 5th starter? Why haven't you? Slow market? But you have needs, and you play in 3 weeks. So you're trying to go bargain? You're trying to take that 20 and squeeze it and get the most out of it, but aren't you risking the start of your season by doing that? Do you really want to sign Michael Lorenzen March 20th?
Yeah.
If you could have signed him February 20th, but we saved $700,000. Is it worth it?
Right.
You see, it's just getting, now again, there's still enough time where I think you could make a trade or a signing and certainly impact your team from day one. But all of a sudden you look up in a week or two and you're kind of like behind the 8 ball and you're putting guys in weird positions and they're not ready to go from day one. So it's a weird thing. If they have 20, it's interesting. They're holding it in their back pocket, waiting for what? Prices to come down, the perfect person.
Yeah.
You've had all off season.
Look, I'm nervous. I'm officially nervous. Like I am worried. Okay. Do I hope those worries and nervousness goes away because they go out there and play good baseball and they actually start out pretty decently and they don't completely suck with runners in scoring position and be literally the worst team in baseball with runners in scoring position and in 1-run games and in extra innings? Like, yeah, I hope they aren't. I hope they buck the trend and reverse things from last year and they actually play good, fundamental, solid baseball. I really do. I'm just, it's hard for me to, and I know it's probably hard for you and a lot of fans as well to like believe that when there's not been any significant upgrade to this team from a team that last year, I mean, the talent wise to this year, it's not even comparable.
They were 0 for 5 with men in scoring position today, for whatever that's
Blow it
worth.
up.
JD's third. I assume this is facetious, although I respect it either way. Thank you for the super chat. He says Nando has 0 excuses. He played
Appreciate
winter
the hot
ball.
take. Yeah.
That is a hot take. If you have a hot take, you want to contribute with the super, of course, we're going to get to it. What is your overreaction tonight, Padres fans? I mean, who cares? But everyone cares about the roster. Who cares about the game? But everyone, again, cares about the roster and the payroll. And again, man, there's something, I don't know what the right word would be. Ominous isn't it, but it's like you waited 5 months to get a bitter taste out of your mouth and you lose 14-1. I mean, come on. Can't you just like lose 5-4 and nobody would ever care in a million years about it?
Yeah, I mean,
but it's 8-0.
And it's the Dodgers, so it makes it's even more stupid.
Yes, it's so stupid. The whole thing is
I just
absolutely stupid.
I mean, look, this article by Dennis came out after our show today on John
Yep.
and Jim, and like I posted it on Twitter. Like that to me is the biggest thing. When you see that they're not really planning on doing much, and that it would probably be a surprise if they made a acquisition or a signing. Oh boy, oh boy.
I mean, if it's gonna accurate, and then Dennis
I mean,
does great reporting.
yeah.
I mean, if
If
this
this
if it ends up being the case, and we don't know if it does or not, then man, you're asking for a lot. Like I always use poker analogies. Like, you got one card in the deck to, I mean, you don't. They have more than one card in the deck. That's the thing. I mean, it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Are you trying to win the division? Forget about that for a second. Who cares?
Mhm.
But so you have more than one card in the deck, obviously, to have a level of success in your season. But you're asking for a lot. Like Musgrove and Darvish have to be healthy, and Machado and Bogarts and Tatis have to bounce back. Yada yada yada. Like you're asking a lot, and like, and I'm seeing all the things. Oh, Merrill's look good in camp, and Schulte is saying the right things. I'm like, you don't. This doesn't mean anything. I understand people have to write and people have to comment. That's fine. We have jobs that we need to do, but anything you're reading or hearing or seeing is meaningless. All that matters is the season's going to start and you have what you have. You know the analogy, burn the ships? That's what it is. You have your system and you have your team. There are no trades. There are no acquisitions. A million here, a million there. You're not signing Cody Bellinger April 15th. You're not
Mhm.
trading for name the starter May 1st. What you got is what you got. So they have to figure this thing out sooner rather than later.
And I mean, Mike Schulte is gonna have his
So
work. He's gonna have his work cut out for him. He really is. And why I think we are, talking about this at such a heightened level of concern is because there's like still real expectations with this team. And if this team was I don't know. I mean, Kansas City Royals spent a lot of money, but if this team was like the Pittsburgh
yeah,
Pirates,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like if they're if we're talking about the Pirates and we're like they don't have they don't have a left fielder or center fielder or whatever, but there's a couple prospects and a highly rated prospect that is probably going to start the year, then I would be all for that. I'd be excited about that because there's no expectation for that team to go to the postseason with a superstar players on it that they have. It'd be like whatever, right? Like, but that's not the case here. The case is you spent 250 million last year, you ate shit. You tripped over yourself and you ate shit. You have an offseason where you trade away one of the best players in the game. You don't upgrade at any really position of need, and you don't spend any money when you pretty much gave the only reason why you traded Juan Soto is to allocate those funds to the other parts of the roster that needed help to fill holes, but you haven't. And your owner passes away, and you have a bunch of superstars on it because you just signed one to an 11-year, $280 million the previous season. Like, I'm sorry, we're not going to sit here and say that the expectation after World Series goes to literally, hey, we'll see what you got. Like, hey, we'll see what Jackson Merrill does. Like, no, no, no. The expectations are going to still be at a bar of postseason.
Sure. Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
that
That's right.
that is not changing. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how many rookies they have on this team to start the year. Like, if they don't make the postseason, like there has to be change. And that's how I view it.
Well, on cue, Andrew, thank you for your support. I know he was watching John and Jim earlier. I know Andrew, I believe, is in Korea. This comes in, I think, with yen. So thank you for the super chat,
Thanks,
Andrew.
Andrew.
And I think, Andrew, you're going to be there, right? In Seoul for the games coming up against the Dodgers, which is awesome. Okay, so he says sub 500 in July, this hypothetical with the Padres. Does Preller make it to October? I would say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you're fully like baked in. I mean, sure, you have a draft. It's kind of weird, lame duck a
Very
draft,
weird. Yeah.
but he's actually been pretty decent. People would argue the last 2 years with his drafting. I'd be surprised if he was let go in this season. I just would. And not to say it's impossible. I think it would have to go really sideways. Now, also, are you making trade deadline moves and selling off parts with a lame duck GM? Again, I think that's weird. We talked about it last year, but I don't know. Don't you think it would have to go haywire to
Mhm.
potentially move him mid-season?
Oh, dude, they have to be like 20 games under. I mean, it'd have to be a complete dumpster fire.
I think so. I agree.
Um, Yeah, I don't know, dude. Because I mean, the more you look at the holes this team has, and you look at last trade deadline, you're like, I wonder what
You
they
could
could have
have
gotten for Blake
addressed them.
Snell. I wonder what they could have gotten for Josh Hader. You know?
Well, I mean, a good amount, a good
Yeah,
amount.
right. And maybe you get more for Juan Soto at the deadline instead of waiting in the offseason. I don't know that. I mean, we'll see what the players that,
Yeah,
came
what
back
they
in the
got.
Yankees deal do, and Michael King could be fantastic, and Johnny Brito and Vasquez and Drew Thorpe, who is like the most handsome man on the freaking planet. Have you
Is
seen
he?
this guy?
No, I've never seen him. I should look him up.
It's
It's like
like
GQ.
I'm like, bro,
Drew
what?
Thorpe.
Look up Drew Thorpe right now.
Okay, Drew Thorpe, Padres. This guy with the mustache.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really like a big like mustache guy.
I just think he has fantastic hair. His jawline is pretty chiseled. And I mean, when you throw in a mustache and like blonde hair and like, come
And
on,
like
bro.
top prospect in like the Padres organization. It could, yeah, it could
Yeah,
be worse. Could be worse.
could be worse. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you're
yeah,
fine.
yeah. Okay, that's great. By the way, we need to tell you about our title sponsor in a moment. I do want to thank John for his super chat. Guys, if you're here, subscribe. Here on
Thanks,
content for
John.
Padres fans. Thank you for the super chats. Click the $sign below the chat box. He says he's not trying to freak out. It's us too.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry.
But a lot has to go right for the season to be a success. We need at least one outfielder and a starter, LFGSD. But after today, forget about today.
Yeah.
But don't forget about the last 100 days.
Throw it in the trash today. But
Today,
like,
throw
yeah.
into the trash. But they lost Blake Snell, Josh Hader, and Juan Soto since the last time you saw them.
And
So
Seth
that's what you
Lugo
should be.
and Michael
Yeah,
Wacha,
Michael Walker. And they've added in Woo-Suk Go, who we know nothing about, and
Wandy
Matsui, who was
Peralta,
great today, and Jerkson Profar, who doesn't have a visa.
and Wandy Peralta.
And great, and they've added some pieces that hopefully are valuable. I think the backup catcher from the Yankees is probably pretty valuable. I think Michael King hopefully has value. Burrito, who we're going to see tomorrow. I mean, there's guys that hopefully have value. I'm just, the last time we saw them, they weren't great, and they've lost a lot of pieces from the last time we saw them, and the Padres haven't really fully dealt with that. It's like sometimes it's like the rent money's due. Here we are. Where's the money? Where's the team? Like we had all off season.
Like I think if you just were open with your fan base and was like, look, this is a transition year. This is probably a developmental year. We're going to give a lot of guys in our system opportunities. We hope that things work out, and postseason is definitely our goal, but we're just going to be honest. Like, this is a developmental transition year for us.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, I don't think Preller has the luxury of that being the case, especially after what Eric Cosenza said about him.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like not understanding this. Like, if truly this is not a year that is I mean, if this truly is a year where Preller is like kind of on the hot seat and it's not like his job isn't like fully secure, then why wouldn't he be trying to do everything possible to make this team the best it possibly could be, instead of just saying, well, we'll just go through our system?
Let me answer that.
I know.
Does he have the $20 million?
That's true.
And is that enough to make any real difference, I guess?
Well, like I said, no sympathy for AJ if he doesn't, because a lot of it's his fault.
All right, we need to thank our title sponsor, who is back for year whatever on the wrap-up show. Since we took it to YouTube, September of 2021, Mark Nimitz has been with us. Thank you, Mark, for your support. If you are here live or on replay, we thank you for your support. If you have any insurance needs, you got to get in contact with Mark Nimitz. It's as simple as that. I mean, Mark is a diehard supporter of this channel. He's a diehard Padres fan. He's a lifelong San Diegan. He's a great insurance agent. You can take it from us. I've got a homeowner's life insurance and an earthquake insurance policy through Mark. His website's on the screen right now. You can click the link in the description to get free quotes online, or just call Mark. He'll talk to you about the Padres like we will. And it'll save you money on your insurance, $750 or more just by switching. He can save you money. He can save you time. I had to file a claim in 2022. He saved us thousands of dollars and so much time. Whatever it is, auto, home, renter's life, Mark Nimitz is your guy. He is the title sponsor of the wrap-up show. We are thrilled to have Mark back here in 2024. If you support our work, please support Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance.
Yeah, love Mark. Glad he's aboard for upcoming season. And all his information is in our ticker below. His email address, mnimitz@farmersagent.com. When you reach out to our buddy Mark, if you just want to talk Padres baseball, he'll be more than happy to do that. But when you do reach out to him for all your insurance needs, let him know that John and Jim from the wrap-up show sent you.
All right, let's talk about the good for a moment. Actually, I want to talk about other things. Ethan Salas, I hate the pitch clock, even though I don't mind the pitch clock, but ringing up some dude in a spring training game in a 14-1 game
Stupid.
on a pitch clock violation is just dumb. So he goes 0 for 2, but it was like 0 for 1, and we'll never know. You had Matsui work a scoreless inning with 3 strikeouts. Was it 3 up and 3 down?
Fantastic. 3 straight strikeouts in a row.
So that's terrific stuff. You had Jackson Merrill, I think, play a fine left, if not better than that.
Yeah.
He was 0 for 2 at the plate. You had Cronenworth homer, which is good. He's got a new approach.
Almost like his
plate, new stance. Yeah.
Instead of upright.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't all lost. No balls to Bogarts or Kim, and they're quasi new positions. Nothing on the ground, at least in 4 innings.
Well, Kim's played short a lot, so.
Yeah, you had a ball hit over Bogart's head in the first inning that I'm like, why did you put him at second? This is a terrible experiment, but I didn't say that. Outside of that, you used 12 pitchers. Some were good, some were awful. And you live to see another day. And, tomorrow against the Dodgers, one more time. It's the last time before Korea. Tomorrow against the Dodgers is the last time against the Dodgers before Korea, March 20th.
So I think the biggest positive out of today's game, to me, Yuki Matsui, hands down. You heard Gavin Lux after the game talk about facing Yuki Matsui, and I don't have his exact quote in front of me, but it was along the lines of "Dude's nasty." Like, that guy's good. That's what Gavin Lux said. And Gavin Lux, he's a highly rated guy for the Dodgers, even though he got hurt last year. He's playing the big leagues a lot, but to hear that from Gavin Lux, I thought that was a good thing. Jeremiah Estrada also came from Chicago. Fantastic in the inning before Yuki Matsui. 3 up, 3 down, 3 straight strikeouts. And then, that's pretty much, for me, that's pretty much it from the pitching side. I mean, Steven Wilson had a clean inning. Kevin Kopps had a clean inning. Other than that, not much from the pitching side that you look at. And then offensively, nothing there. You like what Jake Cronenworth did, because he's going to need to have a bounce back season after his decline since 2020. But to me, the number one takeaway out of today was if Yuki Matsui is going to look like that, that's a good sign for the Padres.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I agree. And by the way, AJ Preller's offseason with his bullpen might be really good. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
I think that, you lose Josh Hader, but you have maybe more versatility in the back of your bullpen. He certainly has arms. Again, he acquired a lot in the Soto trade, whether that's for a rotation or the bullpen as well. So yeah, I think who was it though we had on recently? It was like, what, the bullpen is good, but not great. Like, there's good arms, but not great arms, essentially. Was it? I forget we had someone on who wasn't as complimentary of the bullpen as I thought he was going to be. But I think right now, if you're talking about strengths, like, okay,
was Kyle Glaser?
Lineup, rotation. I don't know if it was Kyle. It may have been. I think it was. I mean, he said, listen, we'll see how it plays out.
Or was it Scott Miller?
Which surprised me a little bit.
I think it might have been Kyle.
I think it might have been. But, I mean, out of lineup, rotation, bullpen, bench, I'm starting with bullpen, I think.
Yeah. I mean, look, I said it, and I've been on record. I think that this bullpen has the possibility to be fantastic. I think I said like top 5 bullpen in baseball.
But my only caveat there, Jim, I would agree with you if they had an elite closer. And maybe they do. I just don't know about him.
Right. No,
That's
I
my
agree.
issue.
I agree. If Robert Suarez is going to be 2022 version Robert Suarez, and you add 34 saves to that, like stat line, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I just looking at the bullpen and the arms they have, Suarez, Matsui, we haven't seen go yet. Wandy Peralta, you have Steven Wilson, Tom Cosgrove, you have De Los Santos, who they got in the trade.
Yep.
For Scott Barlow.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen yet. I don't even know if we've seen him in camp. Have you even seen him in camp?
I don't
seen him
know.
In camp. Brito, Vasquez. I don't know if they're going to be transitioned to the starting rotation.
One of them probably will be.
Maybe one of them. So I look at the bullpen they have and what the bullpen they've assembled, and I just think that it has the potential to be pretty nasty. Dependent on if they can get some, kind of innings eaters in your starting rotation, because the worst thing for a bullpen is to have to eat up a lot of innings because your starters can't give you consistently 5 innings. And that would be the biggest problem.
This Arizona Washington State game is
what is happening over there?
I know I never watch games during this, but it's spring training. Oh, is he out of bounds?
What's happening? Tell me
I'm watching. I don't know. I saw people talking about it on social media, so I turned it on. It's just a good Pac-12 late night game between Arizona and Washington State that's tied.
74 all, 24 seconds left.
Yeah, and Washington State has a chance for a 4-point play to take a lead. Keyshawn Johnson just fouled a 3-point shooter.
That must be. Oh, that sucks.
What was I going to say though, real quick? I forget because I'm watching this basketball game. Yeah, that's bad on me. I forget what I was going to say.
I was talking about.
I know what I was going to say.
Bullpen.
I know, but I know what I was going to say. It has to do with this, there's all this bitterness right now towards Bob Melvin. I get it. There's bitterness towards Juan Soto and Bob Melvin, and there will be to AJ Preller when he's gone, and there will be to Mike Schilt when he's gone. None of these guys are 20-year managers. I mean, you know how this works. They've had how many managers under AJ Preller? So Mike Schilt's not going to be here for forever either. I actually kind of gave credit to Melvin for being like, you know what? In the end, the way it ended with kind of the animosity on both sides, and I'm paraphrasing completely, but he was like, I kind of look back on that yeah, my bad. I mean, there was some maybe bitterness or animosity there that I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have displayed. I'm talking about Melvin. At the end of the day, this is like doing what's best for the kids. It had to go this way. It's not just Melvin. It's not just Preller. Melvin has accountability. So does AJ. It goes back and forth. We'll never know exactly the moment or exactly how or why, but it happened. And why are we pretending like good riddance, now they're 100 times better? It just is what it is. He had a good 2022 and a bad 2023, and the sides have gone in separate ways. And why is it anything more than that?
I mean, he's still the only manager under AJ Preller to have back-to-back winning seasons and take a team to a real postseason and go to the NLCS. So
so it's like, why not celebrate it? Because now you got to boo him every single time that he manages at Petco Park, like he's some villain. I mean, is he really a villain?
I think the quote that really ticked a lot of people off was at Melvin's press conference when he mentioned during his time as a Padres manager, he would look over in the opposite dugout at man, I wish I was over there for Giants, games or whatever.
Right.
And do I put blame on Melvin for 2023? Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. They all get blamed.
Guess what? Like you said, everybody gets blamed, and it's not just his fault. The relationship with AJ Preller and him isn't just exclusive to Bob Melvin. You think that AJ Preller has always been a saint when it comes to communication with his managers? No. There's a lot of reasons why he's gone through so many managers is he can't communicate well.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening?
No, this is time out on the floor, 9 seconds left. No big deal. Washington State up 1. I don't even care. I mean, do I really care? No, but you know me, I'm such a junkie. When it comes to college basketball. No, not with 9 seconds. But yeah,
it's look, it takes two to tango. I put Bob and AJ in their own category of blame. AJ won. Okay. He got to stay. Bob left. AJ did not want Bob back. I don't think Bob wanted to come back, but he
right. Don't die.
Oh my gosh. He was under contract, and so he was going to come back, but said it today. AJ is so lucky that the Giants fired Gabe Kapler, because if they didn't,
otherwise he's in a tough spot. What's he going to do?
Then he's going to have to fire another manager. And for this situation to happen where it's perceived that Bob wanted to leave and Bob didn't want to be here, and AJ was like, I wanted Bob back. I think he got lucky, honestly and true. Because we talked about it at the time, and a lot of people in the media were talking about it as well, to go through another managerial firing. I mean, you can't do it.
But he didn't even say he was going to. I mean, the season ended. He's like, Bob's gonna be back. And then
You really think so? If the
I
Giants
mean, he
never had an
said it.
opportunity,
I don't
dude,
know.
it would have been
That's a good question.
It would have been.
It could have been a disaster. Melvin addressed that with Bryce Miller yesterday, saying like it wouldn't have been good. What happens if there was drama? What if we got off to a bad start? It wasn't going to be fair to the team, to the fans, to the this, to the that.
I think that if the Giants never had an opportunity at some point or another, Bob would have been fired. That's just how I feel.
Yeah,
unless
no,
they
you
came
may
out
be
this
right.
year and like played amazing. But I think if the Giants never had that opportunity, which I'm sure Bob Melvin sits there in San Francisco or wherever he's living now, thinking to himself like, "Thank God." But I do think it would have resulted in a firing or probably a mutually parting of ways, one or the other. But yeah, man, I don't have any problems with Bob like at all. I really don't, and people do because they're bitter.
Okay, a couple of things here. UnderdogFantasy.com. Okay, Jim just won today.
I did.
Doing an MLB spring training pick'em involving Padres Dodgers.
It was great.
MLB pick'ems are going on right now, and you can sign up with promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. You will get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Okay, if you use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Click the link in the description down below, or go to UnderdogFantasy.com or the Underdog Fantasy app. So today, Jim won on Padres Dodgers. You can again do a pick 'em for tomorrow's game. Johnny Burrito. Maybe you're feeling the 1.5 strikeouts in the one inning. Maybe you're not. You go higher or lower. 1.5 strikeouts is a lot in one inning.
Yeah, I'm gonna go lower on that one. I think
so you go lower there, and then maybe you pair that with a little NBA action. Like, for example, maybe you're thinking that Trae Young's going to score higher than 5 points in the first quarter against Toronto tomorrow, because everyone's thinking that. All of a sudden, you go 2 for 2 on that pick 'em. $20 pays $54. Okay,
I won $30 today.
So Jim won today. So yeah. So promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. You can do it across all sports. Major League Baseball is back. Take advantage of this. Promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, and get a 100% deposit match up to $100. UnderdogFantasy.com or the Underdog Fantasy app. What did you win on today? What was the play?
It was, I only did the Padres Dodger game.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
I'm going to play this, by the way.
I did Joe Musgrove lower than 1.5 strikeouts and Gavin Stone lower than 1.5 strikeouts.
Who wants to join in on the action tomorrow?
Dude, I can't believe I missed out on that 5 picks for $400, bro.
I thought it was like $4,000.
No, it was, I hit everything but one play and I missed out by 7 points. I was so mad.
Take advantage. Promo code PODSWRAP. Play along with us.
Dude, it's fun. It's
so
fun.
It's so easy. We're doing it so much now. So play along. The pick'ems are, I mean, it couldn't be easier.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, why not?
Yeah, I just go to the app. I'm in the lobby right now. I can literally choose any sport I want. Like if I want to do college basketball, like I can do college basketball. If I want to do the PGA Tour, I can do the PGA Tour. And I can choose up to 5 picks, and it just progressively gets higher and higher win total for you the more players you have in your pick'em.
Right.
And so like, yeah, it is super easy, super fun. You can view by game, so you can just do a single game if you want. If you want to just do like, tomorrow, basketball. If you just want to do Toronto, Atlanta, that game, you can choose that game and they give you a bunch of different plays. Same thing with spring training baseball. They give you every spring. I mean, you can choose higher or lower. Play this with spring training baseball. Like that's awesome.
100%. No, I'm completely with you. So again, promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, get a 100% deposit match up to $100. I'm trying to find the comment in here real quick I wanted to get to. I mean, this is an interesting talking point to consider this year in general. Like Jeremy says, still feel X should be the shortstop and Kim at second. The reason I say it's interesting is it certainly isn't something when you felt like when you talk about pressing needs, was it pressing in 2024 to move Xander to second and Kim to short. Could you argue that it makes you a better defensive team? You could. Could you argue that also it could be a problem for Bogaerts moving positions? And yeah, you could. So I don't think one way or the other it's overly impactful. I thought the Padres were trying to sell it like this is really impactful because Kim is such a plus defender that by putting him at short, it's really unlocked our infield. I don't see it that way. I think maybe they're better defensively with him over there, but maybe also you're opening up like a can of worms with Bogaerts. Like, do you think this will be, I don't know, something that we're discussing throughout the course of the year? The fact that Bogaerts is now at second, like, is that going to be a challenge or tricky?
I mean, it could rear its ugly head, like he doesn't turn a double play ball, or
and then it leads to something.
Yeah, or he pivots the wrong way on a throw or something along those lines. Like, it could absolutely happen. I view it as like a more of a clubhouse message leadership move. Does it make this team better? Like, it kind of feels like a minimal upgrade. I mean, you're taking a Gold Glove second baseman, putting him at shortstop, where he's also probably a Gold Glove shortstop, and taking a shortstop who has played every single game almost of his entire career at the big league level at shortstop, and putting him in a position he's never played before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you want to keep the shortstop who's played almost every game of his career at shortstop? And there was nothing defensively last year about Xander Bogaerts as short that made me go, this guy can't be a shortstop.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe in like 5 years or something, but not like now. And then you felt completely comfortable with Ha-Seong Kim at second base. So is this a move to, like you said, unlock their infield? I don't think so. I mean, was it the most pressing need that they had to do? Like, no, I really don't. That's why I think everyone was so surprised by it, because it's like, wait, there should be other things that are happening besides this. What I do think the biggest part of it is knowing Xander did not want to do it, but he did it for the betterment of the team.
Sure.
And it sends a message to that clubhouse that this year we ain't doing that shit that we did last year. Hey, if we need you to bat someone in the lineup and you don't like it, guess what? We ain't gonna throw a fit. We're gonna do what's best for the team. If the team decides that's the best for the team, then we're gonna do it. We're not gonna throw a fit. We're not gonna cry about it. We're not gonna bitch about it to the media. We're gonna go out there and do it. We're gonna be professionals, and we're gonna play baseball. I think that's the biggest thing that came from this, is that Xander put that all to the side and said, look, the team thinks this is best for the team, then I'm all for it. Like, I'm a leader. I'm going to show everybody, especially the young guys, like, hey, it's not about me. It's about we. And I think that's the biggest thing that came out of it. Do I like you said, does it unlock their infield? Like, no, I don't. Like, long term for Xander at second, yeah, it makes sense, because a 36-year-old shortstop is dumb.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's not Ozzie Smith. But right. I mean, I'm with you. I think the selflessness of it, I think, probably has value, but I'm not overly convinced of it. I go back to what Manny Machado said last year. What is culture? What matters? Do your job.
That is the part of culture, though. I feel like that is the part of culture.
I agree. It is. But will it add up to wins?
That's yet to be determined.
That's what I'm saying. You're 100% right. It is. What he's showing is a level of selflessness that I think is beneficial from a team perspective. But what the words that they were saying last year of the clubhouse were, none of it matters. Do your job.
Just go win.
High school baseball. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but it's a new year, so maybe it is of value. I hope it is of value. I think there'll be a little bit of a learning curve. Listen, you can't freak out when Bogaerts makes a mistake at second. Kim has made a mistake at second. Cronenworth has made a mistake. It's going to happen. He's not going to be perfect. He wasn't perfect at short. So, and then, again, if it's something crazy, then it'll be addressed. It's not going to be crazy. He's played on the right side of the infield in shifts all the time,
And the only thing that is a little like weird about it is like, what happens when Ha-Seong Kim's not here next year?
If that's the case,
if that's truly the case, like if they don't lock up Ha-Seong Kim to an extension, then what? Are you moving Jackson Merrill from left field back, to shortstop? Are you putting Xander back at shortstop and putting Jackson Merrill at second base, or putting Jake Cronenworth at second base?
That's a question for another
day.
Another day.
It wouldn't be a Padres roster without complete utter lack of roster construction.
Yeah, it's a little. That's maybe that part makes it even odder. You're right, because like if Kim isn't going to be here after 2024, then why is anyone rocking any boat? If Kim just walks out, then deal with it then. Kim walks out. Now you have Merrill. Now you have Bogarts, and now you address it. But now, is it a play for Kim long term? Is
But
that
then
been
his value goes.
discussed?
Then you put him at shortstop, and he becomes a Gold Glove shortstop,
Mhm.
and he puts up comparable numbers, maybe even better numbers offensively. You've just added another maybe 25, 30, $40 million to his contract.
Yeah, I mean, he's already been a shortstop, but I mean, the point's valid. I mean, well, that's like this idea that they've made it. He's more valuable now via trade. Is he? I don't think so. Everyone knows what he is.
Also, too, yeah, like we're talking about, okay, if Kim leaves, then the move would be to put Jackson Merrill at short because he's most comfortable with that. But and you already have Bogarts having a year under his belt at second base instead of potentially next year you're putting two guys at a position up the middle. Both of them never played there in the big leagues, right? Xander at second and Jackson Merrill at short, even though Jackson Merrill's a shortstop by trade and that's his natural position. But it's like, do you want next year, if Hassan Kim leaves, to have two guys at a new position or just one?
It's an interesting point. It is. It's an interesting point. I don't know. I don't think they're thinking 2025. It's just like we're not thinking Monday's show.
Right. Yeah. I'm not
I don't
thinking
think
Friday's
they're
show.
thinking- yeah, exactly. The show starts in like 6. I don't think they're thinking it. I mean, I hate to say it that bluntly, and I don't truly feel that way. I mean, obviously, there's people in charge of roster construction beyond this year, but I don't think they're putting all their eggs in the 2025 basket tonight. I think they're really thinking about who's going to be in left field.
Yeah.
Can Jerks and Profar get a visa? Is Johnny Burrito going to be effective?
One more thing, just totally random. I don't know if you noticed it, but I did. Bro, is Luis Campusano's batting stance one of the weirdest you've ever seen?
But yeah, but I mean, I think it has been, right? He just hits though.
Not to that extent.
Maybe it's more exaggerated.
And who gives a shit if he hits?
Right.
I'm just saying it's like batting stances guys dream to oh, there's Luis Campusano. Here we go.
Right,
I just thought it was interesting that that's a crazy stance, dude. I've never seen to that extent where he is open, almost hips open up to the pitcher, choking up.
Yeah, wide open.
4 or 5 inches, wide open.
Mm-hmm.
If he hits, who gives a crap?
If he hits, I mean, here's the thing with him, actually. If he stays healthy,
that's
he just doesn't play. I mean, how many career games does he have? Not very many. And he did hit last year, but he didn't play. I mean, he was hurt. So, I mean, he's got to step up and be healthy for a year and make 90 starts behind the plate.
Easily.
And then, I mean, that's just what he's got to do. I mean, I'm not going to ask for 130 because he's not going to make it. And they don't want him to. But he's got to step up and make 90 starts and produce for this team on offense. And that's like a requirement. That's a prerequisite for this team.
He's played
how many career games?
55 career games as a catcher.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
and
sorry.
You're going to ask him.
Sorry, 61 career games as a catcher. He has started 55 games. He has completed 48 games as a catcher. 478 innings total as a catcher at the big league level.
Yeah, and he's been fine defensively, or was last year. But yeah, I mean, you're really putting an onus on him being available. Like he's got to be available. And I mean, I don't know how much you trust that. Catching is a tough position, obviously, and there's injuries that happen.
Hey, if he's going to give you a slash line of 319, 356, 491, and 847
last year, give me a break.
And you play 112 games and start.
If it's anywhere close to that,
oh my God.
I mean, if it's within 40 in all those categories, that's a big win.
Dude, incredible.
Nick, thank you, man, for the super chat. He says, Eric Katsenda is making sure AJ isn't thinking about 2025. I mean, man, he was blunt, wasn't he?
Very blunt. I kind of appreciated it, honestly.
He was blunt. It's like, yeah, he's a great talent evaluator. Oh, by the way, we need to win.
Yeah, everyone's on watch here. This is not a situation where everyone gets a pass. Like we're all being evaluated. And another thing too is like, don't underestimate the power that Eric Grupner is getting in this organization now, by the way.
In what regard? Hiring, firing?
In the regard of like swaying decisions with like baseball personnel.
Swaying decisions. So being involved in decisions that the baseball operations is making, or making decisions in terms of hiring or firing baseball operations?
Being involved in like if AJ came to him with a big trade idea that ended up bringing money to the team and it doesn't fit Eric or Casenda's like budget chart, I think that there could be a situation where Grupner is nixing it potentially. Like I think that's the power he is gaining. Also the power of, potentially the fate of AJ's job. As far as like influencing whoever's going to make that final decision. Like if Eric goes to, or Herr Grupner goes to Eric Casenda and really gives him like a PowerPoint presentation of like why they need to move on from AJ, I think that I think he's becoming more influential in that sense.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. I'm going to get to Murray's super before we get out of here. I do want to remind our viewers about our partnership with our friends over at FOCO.
Dude, look at that gold glove, bro.
I know. They just, this is sold out, though. They just unveiled what this is going to look like. This is the...
Looks like his pigtails.
Tatis gold glove. What'd you say? Looks
like he has pigtails.
But, man, our friends at FOCO, I mean, Jim's been talking about it for years and years and years.
Dude, I have a Fernando Tatis. Where'd he go? Oh, did his computer die? Wait, what? I see him. What happened?
I think I hit the wrong button.
What the hell?
Start of a season. Listen, it's spring training for us too, man.
Yeah, we gotta get back in the swing of things.
Anyway, Fernando Tatis Jr. over at FOCO. Jim's been telling you about FOCO for a long time. I mean, their bobbleheads are incredible. All their specialty items. If you use Wrap Up Show 10 as your promo code, click the link in the description down below to get to the website. You'll get right to the Padres collection. Use promo code Wrap Up Show 10 and get 10% off anything. I mean, they really do have incredible products. And we always tell you about the bobbleheads. They sell out. They all sell out. I'm looking at the top bobblehead. It's sold out. Mexico City last year, it's sold out. So, like, pick these things up as they go quickly. Like, this is a limited edition big head bobblehead that's available right now of Manny Machado. But
that's Manny?
That's Manny, man.
Just kidding.
That's Manny Machado.
I still have the Fernando Tatis Jr. big head bobblehead sitting in my office here. Might have to do something with that with their giveaway. I don't know.
Okay, now we're talking.
Potentially, yeah. Because look, I love bobbleheads, but I think that'd be a good giveaway. What do you think?
It would. I think it'd be a great giveaway. But again, if you're looking to stock up before the start of the season, I mean, Padres overalls, bobbleheads, Crocs, everything, like bucket caps and floral caps, and
I just love everything that FOCO does as far as Padres gear. And I'm a sucker for a good bobblehead, like my Fernando Tatis Jr. one here with the swag chain. I know the swag chain might give some PTSD to people and make people cringe a little bit, but I don't know, man. This thing is, I love this one. More in the glasses, the swag, dude. I freaking love it.
I know you do. So click the link in the description down below. Use promo code WrapUpShow10. I just put a link in the live chat as well. Take advantage of that offer as Padres season is back, and of course, we're just about a month away from the opener. Let me get to a couple supers that have rolled in here late. We'll get to them all, of course. This one from Murray. Murray, appreciate your support of the channel. You're always here. He says, happy note, San Diego State softball beat number 11 Missouri tonight, 3-2 in Palm Springs. Very cool. They get number 1 Oklahoma. Oklahoma's not lost in years, like no joke, years.
Really?
They're playing San Diego State this weekend. I literally, you're like a couple years since their last loss, I think, which is psycho. I mean, they're like,
okay,
they've won like 100 games in a row. I don't know how many games they've won in a row, but they've won a lot. So Murray, thank you. And yeah, congrats to San Diego State. They almost made a College World Series last year. They were in a regional against Utah, and it went 3 games, a decisive third game. They won game 1. They were that close to getting to a Women's College World Series for the first time ever. Maybe they'll do it this year. And Richard says, I like YouTube Jim better than 7:60 a.m. Jim. Can you further that comment, Richard?
Probably because I can say like
curse
shit.
Did you
and
think?
it's a different format on here. Like we don't have to abide by commercial breaks. We don't have to abide by a clock. We don't have to abide by FCC regulations. Like we can actually fully interact with the chat when it's hard to fully interact on radio with the chat. If that makes sense. I think that's another like big thing with the wrap-up show compared to John and Jim, which is our radio show, is that interaction on the wrap-up show with our chat is it's just better. And
he says, yeah. There it is.
Popular. Yeah. Some people don't like it. Some people don't like when I curse, though. But I will. I that's how I talk. Like people,
you will.
I talk like this. I say shit. I say fuck. Like it's just.
Yeah, we get it.
I know. I'm just saying. Like it's just can't handle it. I'm sorry, but being an adult here, big boys.
Hour 2 of the show tonight is about Trevor Bauer. No, it's not.
No.
We've had this conversation a lot, Jeremy. I mean, it's not happening.
No,
it's not. I mean, will he end up somewhere in baseball at some point? Maybe. I'd be surprised. It's been he's been out a long time from Major League Baseball now. There's a reason. You could argue the validity of the reason, but there's a reason.
Like, here's the thing. So Jeremy's retort might be like, well, look what happened with Matt Araiza today. He just got signed by the Kansas City Chiefs. Matt Araiza isn't a quarterback, wide receiver, or like a running back. Like,
well, it's completely different.
Completely different.
Is it not? I mean, each one is a unique circumstance, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong with what I'm going to say here on Araiza. Like I heard Jack Cronin on the news side today say he was what was the word he used? Like unfoundedly accused. Like there was a criminal case that was never tried because there wasn't evidence. There was a civil case
wasn't even in the room.
Dropped.
Yeah,
and there's evidence to suggest he wasn't even like a party to this or whatever, and I'm not some legalese expert, but like the Trevor Bauer thing is different. I don't know the full extent of
those things happened.
Didn't he admit to some manner to Major League Baseball some level of wrongdoing? Did he not?
Yes, he did.
Okay, that's different, right on its face.
And I've said it before. I wouldn't want Trevor Bauer, when he was still pitching with the Dodgers, I was like, I don't even want him on the team because I feel like that's just like it's just going to mess the clubhouse up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just didn't want that guy on the Padres. It just, and sometimes in sports, yes, I get it. If you can perform, who gives a shit how you act? Who gives a shit if you're the worst person on the planet? Or if your teammates don't like you, or if you're this weird clubhouse guy, if you can go perform and your team wins, then that's great. I think it's a little different in baseball, man. I really do. And I think that Trevor Bauer would just be a giant wrench in this clubhouse. And I think he'd be a giant wrench in a lot of players' clubhouse, especially clubhouses that are maybe with a lot of veterans and, teams that are expecting to win. If he goes to the Oakland A's, I don't think that matters at all. I think Oakland would be like the perfect spot for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Go to the most irrelevant team in baseball right now.
They're also not going to do it.
In a place where nobody's there to cover him. There's no media coverage. Nobody cares at all. And get your feet wet back in baseball. But to go to a team like, the Padres or like, a team in New York, which would be crazy, I don't think teams just want to deal with that headache. And I don't mean by headache of these allegations that, happen with Trevor Bauer and everything, where I think it's just, they just don't want to deal with Trevor Bauer and the circus that it would create.
It's not happening. It's right. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's not happening. I'd be shocked I'd be much less shocked at like a series of other events happening with this roster
For
than landing
everybody
Trevor
out there
Bauer.
just like screaming at the top of their lungs, sign Trevor Bauer. I've never seen him have a problem with teammates, blah, 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 blah. Like, well, guess what? It's not just the Padres that aren't signing him. No one is. So that should tell you all you need to know. Actions speak louder than words. And if no team in baseball is signing Trevor Bauer, there's probably a reason why.
Yeah, for years. By the way, what heat on Tatis? Like, there's literally none. Like, there's no heat on Tatis. Like you couldn't have less heat heading into now. It's amazingly considering the 17-month period he had before last year, where it was getting a little dicey. There's like no heat on Fernando Tatis Jr. Like none, zero, zilch. What? I mean, does he need to have a better year? But that's a productivity thing. That's not a heat thing. So no, you don't do it because no.
What heat is that? What heat does Tatis have?
By whom? I watched every game
By
last year. He doesn't get booed.
CSRF. He's the most hated Padre player because like you think.
Well, that's like saying I'm the most. He's not. Nobody cared. I watched the games. At Dodger Stadium, he wasn't getting booed in the second half of the year. People are just like over it. It's a different. I don't know why. I thought he was going to be. I was the one saying I thought he was going to get booed, and he did a little bit. Wasn't
around the league
at all.
Okay, guess what? Here you go. Ready? Because we're just throwing out random things about players because you say so. Yu Darvish is the most hated pitcher in baseball around the league because I said so.
Right.
Like, let's give me a break. And the thing with Trevor Bauer, I literally just said, actions speak louder than words. If no team in baseball is signing Trevor Bauer, that should tell you all you need to know. Plain and simple. And if some team signs Trevor Bauer, then great. Then then fine. That's great. But as of right now, there's no team out there signing Trevor Bauer. And
that's factual.
It's a fact.
Because he's not on a team.
So if Trevor Bauer was viewed by, and apparently a lot of people in this chat and a lot of people that we've,
everyone thinks he's he's the answer.
He's the savior to every team. Well, if he was the savior to every team that's in contention and trying to win a World Series, don't you think that team would have signed him already?
Yeah.
Just
look at he can pitch. I mean, he had a nice year in Japan. He can pitch.
Right.
But it's not happening. And by the way, the Padres aren't one player away. If Trevor Bauer isn't unlocking the season, to use that term again, I wouldn't think. I mean, does he help? Maybe just from a sheer on-field perspective, you could forget about everything. Yeah, probably. Yeah. But guess what? Then he probably helps a lot of teams, 20 plus teams, and the other 20 plus teams have the same feelings that the Padres have apparently.
Yeah, I'm just saying, guys, actions speak louder than words. And until Trevor Bauer is signed by a team, that's all you need to know about what baseball thinks of Trevor Bauer, honestly.
I agree. And like the Shield says, you guys have all the answers, LOLs. Yeah, that's why you're watching us.
I don't have all the answers, but I'm telling you what I think and feel.
And that's why you're here.
Yeah,
and
that's my opinion.
People are here. And that's like literally why we do this, to provide our opinions.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be back.
Fun way to end that show.
That was fun. Sunday night. Let's do it again. Sunday night. Talk about they better win between now and Sunday night. So we'll be back this weekend, Sunday night, with more wrap-up shows for you. Of course, once we get into the season, we are here for you. You have to subscribe. We've got the Korea Series watch parties coming up. We will be watching those games live with you overnight, 3 a.m., March 20th and 21st. So subscribe. Year-round content for Padres fans. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Support our partners, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. Whatever your insurance needs are, he's our title sponsor. He will take care of you. Tell him the wrap-up show sent you. Underdog Fantasy, underdogfantasy.com. Use promo code PODSWRAP. Play along and pick 'em games tomorrow, Dodgers and Padres. Underdogfantasy.com. Use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Get a 100% deposit match up to $100. And again, FOCO, click the link in the description down below. Use promo code WRAPUPSHOW10. Get 10% off your order of Padres gear, officially licensed through our friends at FOCO, promo code WRAPUPSHOW10. All right, Jim. Back for season number 5. Buckle up. if tonight's what we're about to experience over the next 6 months, buckle up. All right,
maybe
guys.
Worse than last year. Wait.
You're not kidding. All right, guys. For Jim, I'm John. Padres, you can't win them all. They lost 14-1. Such as life.
Tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow on the radio, 3 p.m. Kevin Acey's joining the show. Join us. San Diego Sports 760, John and Jim, free iHeartRadio app, YouTube, 3 p.m. Join us. Peace.
Peace.